Hi everyone, welcome back. If you have seen a couple of recent videos, you've seen that I have been playing around. Actually, I've been on a mission to use up this has been a mission for like a year, to use up some paints I have mixed up. So what I have found is if I'll focus on one and then build color palettes around it, and then do a bunch of coasters or small blooms, that works well. So right now we're in Operation Use Up Orange Crush. So Orange Crush is a prism pour color, and it's a gorgeous color. So if you saw the Sunset Bloom coasters I did, where I tried a color palette I saw Lisa do, obviously with slightly different colors, then I did those same colors more or less in some swipe coasters. I also need to restock my coasters in my Etsy store, so this is kind of a 2-for-1. And then now I'm going to use similar colors, but if you've watched the previous video, you would have heard me say that blue is a complement to orange. So I'm going to ditch the Diox purple. I also have, so this color blue is Viola blue from Colourarte Vivid Intense. It's got just enough violet in it to give us a nice indigo color. Just saw a huge bubble or clump in my paint. Anyway, it's a nice indigo color, so really nice. It's a Vivid Intense color. I finished my Indian Spice, which had been mixed up for a long time. This is Emperor's Gold, and to this Emperor's Gold has also been mixed up for a really long time. To this I added Solar Flare, which had also been mixed up for a long time, but I had watered it down too much and it was messing up all my blooms. So this needed to be thinned down and that one needed to be thickened up, so I combined them. And this is Rhapsody Rose, which is just a glorious primary element. So this is a nice fierce fuchsia or magenta with a blue shift. So I figured, you know, we're using blue, magenta and blue always look great together, so why not use that? I had a wine color out and then I was like, you know what, I've done that before, let's do this. I may or may not sprinkle a little bit of the Rouge Violet from Colourarte. I'm gonna probably do, or try to do, a blue-black Cell Activator, and so I'm gonna use a touch of white underneath it, just a touch. So let's get started. So I'm gonna use, for my pillow paint today, I'm gonna use Valspar 2000. I just decanted it yesterday. I have my PPG Multi-Pro, but I already have this one open, and I haven't opened my Multi-Pro can, so I'm trying to finish stuff that I open instead of just opening 18,000 things. That's a terrible habit, and then you have stuff everywhere. So I got this at Lowe's. This is an eggshell finish. It's not the best pillow, but it's not terrible. So whatever I had in this other can, which I think is Glidden, it must have been like the bottom of the can where it was not very well mixed throughout or something, because it seems really thin and it seems to be causing me issues. So anyway, we're going to try this and see if we have better results. Anyway, Emperor's Gold or Egyptian coin, I think it's Emperor's Gold. Yeah, Emperor's Gold. It's a beautiful color. They have this in the Bling It pigments, or the micas, or in a prism pour. Just lovely, and it looks really great with that little pop of Solar Flare. It's a good tip to know because I could do that just on purpose, you know? Anyway, so Orange Crush. Hope y'all aren't bored of doing some coasters. I have painting on my table in there, Rhapsody Rose. So I need to resin it before I just start stacking up more paintings. I may do another small painting, but I'm trying to do better about just lining up paintings and not finishing them, because we all know that the painting part is the fun part. The finishing part is work. But you know, it never sells and gets out of your house if you don't finish it. I'm tempted to add more of the Rhapsody Rose, but now we're going to do this Viola blue. And I think I'm going to do just a drizzle of the Rouge Violet, just a drizzle for fun. And the reason I'm doing the white underneath the Cell Activator is, for one, the Cell Activator is dark. For two, a little bit of white underneath a dark Cell Activator, just a little bit, gives you some really cool effects if you do your blow right. Sometimes I don't do my blow right, so like a little bit of white under black or dark blue or something is great. A little bit of black under white also gives you some really cool effects. I learned that from Shelley, which is one of the wonderful reasons to consider taking the classes. You know, like some of those tips, those ongoing tips, you kind of just learn, you know, as you're as you're going. But anyway, I think it's a super fun tip. You get these really cute little cells, and I'm making a gigantic mess. Okay, so the blue-black Cell Activator is Atelier. Interactive, mixed with Australian Floetrol. Now I think I might have gotten it too thick. Help me. So, and it's mixed with Australian Floetrol. But I do have a Colourarte discount in the description box using Mandy1120. You can save 20%. And I get my Australian Floetrol from Pixel Paint Designs. And you can save 10% using Mandy10 in all caps. So don't forget to check the description box. Okay. This is not going well. Okay. I did not blow through that well enough. It's hard to blow. And I'm not sure that this is going to be okay. Let's see what develops before I keep forcing it through. I like the idea. And I love that Viola blue. It's so like purplish, it looks great. But I'm a little concerned that we don't have enough contrast. So I think I may have used too much of the blue. And I know this sounds crazy, but because I have my glasses on because my contacts were dry, I can't see where I'm going. It's like my glasses are in the way, but they're not helping me. It's like I'm having to look underneath them. I'm gonna spin this out, but I think we're gonna have to go again. I like the idea though. It's just not quite going well. And I think I got my Cell Activator too thick. Figures, right? It was too thin. But like, the benefit of it being thick is you have these nice cells and it holds up. So, I don't know, I'm torn. It still seems like I have a significantly long trace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, like that to me doesn't seem too thick. It is a thicker paint though, so I don't know. Let's spin it, see if it opens up any. It might open up and be fine, right? I might be judging it. I don't know, it's pretty dark. But the color combo, I like. Maybe we'll leave the Rouge Violet off so that, although I do like what it's doing there, but maybe we'll leave the Rouge Violet off so that it's not so much competition for that blue to peek through. And maybe we'll drizzle the white a little bit on the top instead of just in that one spot. Okay, I'm gonna pour over it, but I mean, I think the combo is gonna work. I just have to navigate it. And the blow was challenging, which I kind of said be a thing. All right, so let's spread this out a little bit so that it's not all crazy in the middle there. I know that looks muddy, but most of that part's gonna come off. Okay, so I got a toothpick over here. My husband gave me some new tweezers. I need to find the ones that are not useful for tweezing hair and bring them out here for popping bubbles and pulling things out of resin. Because the ones I use regularly don't even pinch anymore. They have so much stuff on them. So this is pretty thick, this here. So ideally, these two should be the biggest puddles. And this Rhapsody Rose is a little bit thick too. Man, you know what is so frustrating about this stuff is you can have paint mixed up like coming out of your ears. And you go to paint, you only have like a little bit of time. And it's like all of your consistencies have changed. And you spend half your time fixing consistencies so you can paint for 15 minutes. Maybe 30 minutes. And I've recently adjusted this, so it's not like it should have had time to go crazy. All right, we're gonna leave off the Rouge Violet this time to avoid a very dark contrast at the top. And I'm gonna maybe be a little more sparing with it, the blue. And I'm gonna drizzle the white. Why does that feel like there's something in the paint? Pretty sure there was. Huh. Well, you know what I think it is? You're like, we don't care. I think it is the some like white house paint, like from the container. That's probably too much white. We'll see. Okay, last time it was too much Cell Activator, so let's let it sink for just a second. Uh-oh. Better. Definitely better. Oh, I want to get this one little piece, but I'm having trouble catching it. Well, that'll have to do. See, now my Cell Activator seems too thick, which is impossible. I suppose it's not impossible. All right, so I think it will develop in the center. I'm afraid to keep blowing it because I'm already causing it to get these like weird measles here. And the more I blow in the center, the greater chance we have of bringing up like pillow paint cells versus what we're really looking for. So let's spin it. We have better contrast this time. As we spin, that will open up that Cell Activator and let it react a little bit. Is it possible that my dumb Cell Activator is now too thick? Like maybe I was putting too much emphasis on the trace. It was cool, a cell popped up right in front of my eyes. Oh, I don't know. I like this one. I don't know if I can redeem it or not. I think I can. Like I think if the rest of the set comes out nicely, this one is nice. The blue is definitely present, but it's not as dominant as it was in the last one because we didn't use that Rouge Violet, but you can see the Rhapsody Rose. The blue is there, but I blew through a lot of that color. So I'm just nervous about the center, but I'm also nervous to keep blowing it. So let's see how the rest of them go, and we'll see what we think. Like, would a white or a black Cell Activator be easier? Yes. But this is also good practice for me to get better at blowing out the blue-black myself. Lots of fun details in this, and I love the bubbly cells you get with the blue-black. But you don't necessarily always get the same ones with, I'm trying to get these weird corners. Feels like no matter how much I cover the corners, they always do whatever they want. Anyway, I think it's a really cool color combination. We definitely blew through a lot of the color. So get the corners and I'll show you. But there's definitely some cool cells. Unfortunately, because we used a lot of paint and we spun really hard, a lot of the coolest cells are here. Okay, so there's that one. See those cool little cells? That's kind of what I'm talking about with the white. Same with down here. Oh, you guys are a little too zoomed in to see that. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so this may be the dumbest thing ever, but I thinned out my Cell Activator just a little bit. I think you guys are zoomed in a little too much. Let me zoom you out just a smidge. Okay. It's hard to do because I got paint all over my gloves. So what makes me a little nervous about that one we just did is so much Cell Activator sitting in the middle. It can just kind of make everything wobbly. The bright side is this paint is thicker than the one I was working with earlier. So there's a good chance that it will hold up. So what I did, which you shouldn't do normally, since I have the ceiling fan on in here to try to let some of that surface area dry a little more quickly to prevent it from pulling off the edge and all of that, because with all that Cell Activator in the center, because it's thinner, it can make your other paint kind of wiggle into that, it's hard to describe it, wiggle into that thinner paint, and then you get those wobbly cells that make you so mad. So some of the blue is already trying to travel, so we'll see how that one turns out. I'm a little nervous about it, but you know, what are you gonna do? But that's, you know, coasters can be so fussy, and they're just a coaster, and there's so much work to finish them and stuff. So, you know, for them to be real fussy in the making, you're like, you know what? You might be overstaying your welcome. And I have just enough Rhapsody Rose, I think, to do this set well without having to mix up any more. So I'm like, look, what a waste. Okay, that Rhapsody Rose color has got to be one of my favorite primary elements ever. Okay, now this last one, I felt like we actually didn't have as much color as I would have liked to see. Go figure, right? So my white is getting thicker, even though I've thinned it down. All right, so I thinned down the Cell Activator. Let's see if it makes it easier to blow it out so that we can get better coverage without having to blow so hard in the center to get it to move. Some of that is because some of these paints are thick. Hopefully I stirred it up well enough. Okay, I keep using too much, so, but it's really sucky when you find out that you're halfway around the circle and you don't have enough either, so, okay. Oh no, no. This here is terrible. I'm hoping that everything around it materializes better, so. So it was easier to blow, but I didn't blow deep enough. But you see how we have better color coverage here? Because I didn't have to blow so far down into the middle to get it to move. So we still have too much Cell Activator in the center. So either A, I'm using too much, which is probably the case, or B, I'm not blowing directly in the center enough to spread it out in the first place. But this is a lot more like what I had in mind. Look at these cute little cells. So my vote is, let's give it a shot, see how it does. I think as we open it up, it's going to do better. But if all of them were to look like this, I would redo that one over there, because this is gorgeous. I'm just a little nervous about the center. So I'm just gently breaking the surface tension to allow some of that to come through. But we're getting a lot better cells here because the Cell Activator isn't too thick. So I think it definitely needed to be thinned down. So I think when I thickened it up, maybe ignorantly thinking it was too thin. Because, you know, typically you can look at like a 5-second trace or something on a medium body paint, like Amsterdam or something, and that's pretty good for a Cell Activator. But with a heavy body paint, because the paint itself is more dense, you may need a longer trace. And I was kind of assessing it based on what I would look for in a medium body paint. So even here where I screwed up, the rest of it is so pretty that it's noticeable, but it's not as bad. I think the middle is what it is at this point. I don't think it's going to get a lot better. It'll develop a little bit on its own. But at this point, the more I mess with it, the worse chance of getting really ugly cells in the middle. So this is really gorgeous overall. Those funky corners drive me crazy. So I'm going to show you this one if I can. And I think we're going to pour over that other one. But maybe I should pour the others first. But I think this is just like too different at this point. But maybe we should pour the other ones first. But this is a lot more like what I had in mind. And because of the Rhapsody Rose, that purple or that blue, like that Viola blue, look at those cells. That Viola blue is like a blue violet, which is cool. So very cool combo. Okay. Okay, so really, really pretty. That is really honestly better than I envisioned when I was picking the colors. Now the center, obviously we have a lot of white because of having to blow into that Cell Activator, so I wish we had more color there. So that's on me, that's not on the paint. So let's try to do another one. I think I may just go ahead and redo this other one. But while the paint's not dry, you know, because once it gets dry, it could crack. Sorry, I'm just dealing with these corners. Okay, so is this perfect? No, but it is very pretty together. This other one isn't bad though, so let me let it live while we do another one, and then we'll make some decisions. Because at this point, if we ran out of Rhapsody Rose or something, I could still make those match. So let's do another one before we do that. This video is probably going to be too long. Hope y'all are good with that. Okay. This is also surprisingly helping me with my blow, even though it's a small tile, because I never really did coasters myself. I used a mini blower. So when I practice blowing on bigger pieces, it all kind of rises and falls from where you start in the actual middle. So this is kind of more consistent practice, I guess. What's a little intimidating is the target being so much smaller because of the middle. But anyway, so we're using up Orange Crush and making a lot of cool things with orange. I love those colors together. I mean, I'm a fan. I have a canvas out here. If I wasn't afraid of running out of Rhapsody Rose, we would just do a canvas. And I love how it's peaking, it's influencing this Viola blue and making it like a blue violet. That's what I love about using like a translucent paint like Primary Elements. It can be so influential in your colors and shine through them. And anyway, I love it. So a little bit of white. And I just thinned this down and it's already too thick again. What gives? I do have the fan on in here, so that could be part of the problem. We all know you shouldn't do that. Okay, too much Cell Activator again. I'm just gonna let it settle for just a second, not too long, because then it'll start to sink. All right. Uh-oh. I did it again. I accidentally blew in that same spot and I blew into the pillow. Still not great in the center, but I think we can make it work. Unfortunately, the blow was not too amazing. Just trying to cover up those corners. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and spin it because this video is already long. I kind of like to let it sit for a second, just a little bit. I'm telling you, the color palette is really quite amazing. I didn't expect it to be this pretty. I mean, I did, but I didn't expect, I thought the blue would be a lot more blue, but that Rhapsody Rose is really giving us some amazing effects. So that's cool. All right, let's spin. I should have cleaned my spinner. Not bad. The more I look at it, the more I realize that first coaster probably can live, even though it's not quite as nice as these others. It's not ugly. And they're all a little different. That's what's kind of cool about it. But I love that we got better peacock cells in the center, meaning you've got cells with, you know, color within color. There's something funky right here. We were not getting a lot of that before because I was blowing too far into the center to try to get it to develop. I did mess up the blow a couple places, but I think it's still nice. Let's give it another good spin, and then we're going to take it off and let it dry. I hope it doesn't crack. Nope, leave it alone. Stop messing with it. Okay. These corners drive me crazy. It's like I cover them, and then it's like, they're like, you didn't cover me. I did too, you little heifer. Covered you. You just refuse to be covered. Whatever, it's a corner, you know what I mean? It is not the main event. The thing that we artists obsess over sometimes is so trivial. Anyway, let me show you. And then we'll do the last one and assess if we want to paint over anything. Really pretty. All right, hopefully last one. Zoom you back in. All right. Thank you guys for enduring with me while I play around with stuff. I promise I'm not just going to do coasters forever, but I do need to restock my shop, and this is a really good way to get to play and to use up paint. Plus, when you start to resin pieces and stuff, you've got something sitting around for leftover resin, which is nice. All right, I'm so excited to try the new Purely Pigments from Colourarte. So if you haven't seen them, Leslie has created a line that's just color. It doesn't have any acrylic in it, or if it does, it has just enough to get it to flow. I don't think it has acrylic. Anyway, so you can use it in resin. So anyway, I'm so excited because for stuff like this, we can make our own colors, which, I mean, we can make our own colors with primary elements too, right? But you can make your own colors, and in resin, I have been wanting, and there are products out there like resin tints and gels and stuff like that that are transparent, but I have been wanting to increase some of my transparent colors because I would like to do some resin art pieces that are kind of a mixture of clear, transparent, and the sparklies, and even some floating pigments here and there. And so I feel like that's going to be so fun. Now, of course, the first time you try it, like what you have in your mind, it's not how it works. It could be a disaster, right? But I also would like to get into some texture painting, and these would be perfect because you can color the texture, you can use it on texture, and then you can varnish the top of the texture with a primary element or with mica, like a bling it or an interference. Anyway, so like the opportunities are truly pretty endless. And if you've been catching her lives lately, she's kind of showing us how you might make your own custom this or that color, which is so fun, and I love it when she does that. And so it just makes me want to get them and play with them in resin. Like, so excited. So you guys may have some trial by fire pieces where we practice using them. I sure used a lot of white just now. I was just talking away, potentially messing up my coaster, and I just used way too much Cell Activator. I mean, way too much. Anyway, so I'm so super excited to try them and show you guys. I got so excited that I forgot what I was doing apparently, and I did a pretty terrible job on that blow, but you wouldn't know by looking at it. It looks pretty fantastic right now. Anyway, so I would like to do a piece where it's probably gonna have to be in layers, but this artist I follow on Instagram, I love her resin work, and I used to be like, is she just doing resin? But she actually does some texture sometimes underneath her layers of resin. So she has some interesting depth. So she must build it in several layers So I'm always looking at her videos trying to figure out, what did you do, you know? And the highlight videos only show you a little bit. But, you know, I can figure some of that stuff out. It just takes time to this is probably like the best one yet, and it's the craziest blow. Go figure, right? There's this big void over here, but some of this is going to spin off. But we got the cute little flower cells in the center, so I think I did better blowing down. I just had trouble executing on the rest of it. Oh well, but really, really pretty. I wish it could just stay like that and develop, but not going to happen, Jack. So anyway, so cute. What a cute little toot. But the other thing I think is cool is they're very, very highly pigmented, so it's not like you could easily just tint another color with them because they're going to take over, right? But you can make really cool bloom paints, I'm thinking, by, you know, using some interference colors and then tinting them with the purely pigments. So I'm excited to try it, and I'm also excited to play around with it in resin. And then if I ever get to play around with the texture like I would like to, which, you know, I'm interested in a lot of things, but I don't have time for very many things. But it just seems like a lot of fun. So anyway, super excited about them, and can't wait to show them to you and play around with them. I usually do like an unboxing video and show you all the colors, but I don't exactly know how to show them to you because I don't know if I'm gonna just mix them up for blooms. Like when she's mixed them up, she's mixed them into like a gel medium first and like made them into a paint. I'm curious if we could just put them in our bloom pouring medium, and will they work just fine, because they're not like an acrylic paint that has, you know, a binder and body and stuff in it. So I'm concerned that if we just do that, they might like it might put too much of a demand on the pigment, but I'm willing to try it. This is such a pretty little booger. Okay, let me show it to you. Thank you guys so much for watching with me and hanging out as I play around. Operation Use Orange Crush. It's been sitting in my drawer for probably at least a year. I've used it, but I mean, I don't use orange all that much. If orange is like your favorite color, I would love to know that. I like orange. I think it's a cool, like a happy color, but I don't think it's not my favorite color. And I find that I tend to like, it's not a go-to for me. I use yellow more than I use orange. But using it in these paintings has been so much fun because it's been so beautiful, especially with that gold behind it. So it's funny how using that paint makes you more prone to use a color that you wouldn't have used maybe as much before. These corners, I hate them. So anyway, you have to let me know if orange is your favorite color. I want to know. I want to know that about you. And I think as a kid, because I had like strawberry blonde hair, people used to tell me that my hair was orange, and I despised that. So maybe I have like a subtle bias against orange because people used to say that I had orange hair. So, you know, it's not orange's fault. The kids are mean, you know. Look at that. This is a super long video. Thanks for hanging, look at those cells. Thanks for hanging in with me. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.